It began with a feeling, a cold spot on the kitchen hearth, deeper than stone, ancient and wrong. The cold seemed to pull warmth from the air, draining heat from your fingers, as if life itself was being drawn out. It was an island of winter in the heart of the home, quietly avoided by everyone, even the family dog. The cold was a silent, unwelcome guest, a void, a presence, a place where something was missing or waiting. It was the kind of feeling you get when you sense you're being watched, even in an empty room. Just a house, a family, and a patch of floor that held a secret cold. It was a precursor, a quiet announcement of something to come. Was it a trick of air currents, or something more? A warning? The cold spot was a silent testament to an imbalance in the natural order. The family stepped around it, never speaking of it, but always feeling its presence. The cold was not just a temperature, it was a warning. And soon, it would no longer be ignored. Before the cold spot, before the whispers, number 5, Pereira Street was utterly unremarkable. A simple home in sun-drenched Andalusia, Spain. Its walls had absorbed 1,000 summers, its floors worn smooth by generations. Maria Gomez Camara, the matriarch, lived a life of routine, cooking, cleaning, caring for her family. The house was a sanctuary, a backdrop for a life that was wonderfully normal. No one thought of ghosts or spirits. Such ideas belonged to folklore, not daily life. The family never imagined their home would become infamous. The ordinary would soon be shattered. The kitchen would become a stage for the extraordinary. And it all began with a cold spot. On August 23, 1971, Maria noticed a dark, irregular stain seeping up from her kitchen floor. No matter how hard she scrubbed, the stain resisted, darkening and taking on a face-like shape. The family tried to destroy it, breaking the floor and pouring fresh cement. But soon, new faces emerged, each more haunting than the last. The stains became permanent, silent observers in their home. The house became a gallery of the unknown. The mystery of the stain had only just begun. News spread quickly through Belmez. At first it was gossip, then obsession. Neighbors came to see the faces for themselves, standing in the kitchen, awestruck and afraid. The shapes were undeniable, part of the concrete itself. The house became a public spectacle, a site of pilgrimage for the curious and fearful. The phenomenon escalated, the faces changed, expressions shifted, new ones appeared elsewhere. Plastering over one only led to another, emerging, sometimes clearer than before. The family was under siege, living among silent, shifting observers. Authorities intervened. The mayor ordered the floor excavated, seeking a rational explanation. Beneath the kitchen, they found human remains, skeletons from the 13th century buried in an old church cemetery. The discovery deepened the fear. Were these the spirits of the dead trying to communicate? The bones were removed and given a proper burial. The floor was rebuilt. For a few weeks, there was silence. The house was quiet, but then the stains returned. The faces re-emerged, as clear and inexplicable as ever. The dead had been laid to rest, but the house itself seemed to remember. The mystery only grew. The family's ordeal continued. The faces would not be banished. The house held its secrets tight. The whispers in the walls would not be silenced. The world watched, waiting for answers. The house became a living canvas of unease. The faces were varied, some clear, some faint, appearing on floors and walls. The family learned to live with them, the extraordinary becoming their new normal. The expressions were disturbing: anguish, serenity, accusation. Each face, a silent riddle. Visitors debated their meaning, projecting their own fears onto the shapes. The phenomenon seemed to react, changing under observation, defying simple explanation. Scientists sealed the kitchen, but new faces formed under controlled conditions. The house did not need an audience. The process was internal, as if the building itself was expressing something. The more investigators tried to control the phenomenon, the more mysterious it became. The house mocked rational explanation. The initial shock faded, replaced by chronic dread. There were no flying objects, only the relentless emergence of form from substance. Matter is not supposed to remember, but the house at Belmez suggested otherwise. It hinted that emotion or memory could be imprinted onto a place, bleeding through into our world. The faces were a violation of reality's laws. The house was not haunted in the usual sense. It was haunted by memory itself. The family lived in a gallery of shadows. The faces reflected the anxieties of all who entered. The house became a mirror for fear. The chorus of shadows would not be silenced. The Belmez house drew scientists from across Europe, parapsychologists, materials experts, all seeking answers. They brought equipment, skepticism, and a determination to replace superstition with data. Samples of the concrete were sent to top laboratories, searching for paint, dye, or chemical agents. Initial analyses found no evidence of pigments. The shapes seemed to be a molecular change within the cement. This baffled researchers and fueled paranormal theories. Later studies found traces of metals, suggesting a possible chemical hoax, but nothing conclusive. The science fractured into conflicting reports and interpretations. Investigators used infrared photography, audio recordings, and more, but results were ambiguous. Some reported strange voices on tape, others found nothing unusual. Every piece of data could be seen as proof or dismissed as noise. The scientific method was swallowed by the house's ambiguity. The mystery deepened with every test. The house defied explanation. The search for answers only raised more questions. The enigma endured. As science failed to provide answers, hoax theories grew. Skeptics focused on Maria's son, Miguel. Was he the secret artist, using chemicals to create the faces? The theory was plausible, but maintaining such a deception for decades under constant scrutiny seemed nearly impossible. The family gained little from the phenomenon. No wealth, only disruption and suspicion. If it was for fame, it was a strange, punishing kind. The hoax theory painted a picture of a family engaged in a bizarre, self-sabotaging act. This explanation was, in some ways, more disturbing than a ghost story. A ghost is an external force. A hoax is a story of internal dysfunction. It suggests a family so desperate for meaning or attention that they would sacrifice their peace and reputation. The theory of the unseen hand relocates the mystery into the human heart, which is darker, that the dead can stain the floors of the living, or that the living would pretend they can. The hoax theory does not solve the mystery, it only deepens it. The family's motives remain inscrutable. The house's secrets persist. The unseen hand remains unproven. Another theory lies between the paranormal and the fraudulent, thoughtography. It suggests the faces were unconscious projections of Maria's mind, her emotions imprinting onto her surroundings. The phenomenon intensified with her emotional state, fading when she was away. The house was not haunted, it was a reflection of her. The concrete floor became a canvas for her subconscious. Maria was the ghost in her own machine. This idea is unsettling, being haunted by yourself. Your innermost feelings broadcast for all to see. It suggests the boundary between mind and matter is permeable. Maria became both victim and cause, trapped in a feedback loop of psychic energy. The theory is impossible to prove or disprove, but it resonates with the emotional core of the story. The faces often showed suffering and anguish. Were they projections of Maria's secret sorrows? The story becomes a tragic psychological drama. The mystery shifts from what the faces are to what they represent. They are silent screams, made manifest in stone. The mind's dark canvas remains an enigma. Today, number 5, Pereira Street is quiet. After Maria's death in 2004, the faces faded, the phenomenon slowed, and then mostly stopped. For some, this proved she was the psychic source. For skeptics, the architect of a hoax was gone. The house, once a stage for drama, has fallen into ambiguous silence. The mystery was never solved. Decades of investigation only deepened the shadows. The Belmez faces remain a perfect enigma, a labyrinth of conflicting data and unsettling possibilities. The narrative has no clean resolution, it simply stops, leaving us to stare into the unknown. The power of the case lies in what it forces us to confront. our understanding of reality, memory, and the darkness within. The story leaves an indelible stain on the imagination. We are left in a quiet house, staring at a patch of empty floor. The shapes are mostly gone, but their absence is as loud as their presence once was. The silence is heavy, filled with unanswerable questions. The house holds its secrets still. We are left to wonder, if our own homes could show the emotions they've absorbed, what silent shapes would watch us from the shadows. Sometimes, I find myself thinking about the faces. Were they a message, a memory, or just a trick of the mind? No one can say for sure, and maybe that's the point. The silence that remains is not peaceful, it is watchful, and it endures. In the end, perhaps the real story is not about answers, but about the questions we carry with us, quietly, into the dark.